So I am originally meant for this video to be unscripted so I could get it out faster. That definitely didn't work and I had no idea what I was doing. Pretty awesome. Anyways, let me get to the point without you having to hear any rambling, which is something I do often. The unscripted attempt was littered with me repeating myself while looking at Discord. Kinda funny how I'm rambling right now. So, for whatever reason, I've been seeing a few videos in my recommended about how EA killed the Plants vs. Zombies franchise and shit like that. Don't know why I'm getting them now, since most of them came out like 5 months ago, but I am. Thanks, YouTube. And I got kind of annoyed for no comprehensible reason and decided to make this video. Recording this has made me realize how fast I really talk. Also, I just want to say I've never done anything like this before, so the script might be a bit shitty. One of the two most common reasons I've seen in rants about how EA ruined the PvZ franchise is that EA fired George Fan. If you don't know who George Fan is, he was the creator of the original Plants vs. Zombies game. I'm putting this one first because I feel this one is a bit more interesting than my stupidly long section about microtransactions. First off, no, George Fan was not fired. He was laid off. What's the difference? The first result that pops up says the key difference between being laid off versus getting fired is that a layoff is the fault of an employer, while a firing occurs because of the employee's fault. There goes someone's entire argument right there, completely because of a misterm. That's not all I wrote for this section, though. From a couple articles and his Ask Me Anything post on Reddit from 2017, Fan didn't even work on Plants vs. Zombies 2. He states in one of his responses, "So PopCap asked me after finishing Plants vs. Zombies 1 if I wanted to do the sequel, and I declined, so my involvement with PvZ 2 was only at a conceptual level." A 2019 article on VentureBeat states, after creating PvZ, its creator steps back. He chose not to create a sequel to the game. Rather, Fan decided that he wanted to continue working on independent titles. Fan left EA because he didn't believe in making free-to-play games with microtransactions. He believed in making indie titles. If you didn't understand any of that, Fan is, and always was, an indie developer. He chose not to work on PvZ 2 because it was being developed by many PopCap employees, and because it had microtransactions. So when you think about it, how could him leaving PopCap and EA have affected the future PvZ games anyway? I'm not saying that I dislike Fan, don't take it that way. I'm only bringing this up because of how many people decide to use this as a point about how his supposed firing ruined the PvZ franchise. The most common reasons I've seen on rants explaining why PvZ is dead is because of the microtransactions, and I find that such a stupid argument. I just want to say that although it may sound like it, I don't actually support microtransactions and freemium games in general. I understand why they're there, and it seems like literally nobody else does. PvZ 2 is a free game. Microtransactions are necessary for the developers to make money off of it. I'm not an expert with business structure, but PopCap makes the games, not EA. PopCap is most of the reason for microtransactions being in PvZ 2. They make the games and EA distributes them. EA probably told them to add the microtransactions, but they aren't that bad.
Vici talks about how EA would have probably been okay at the idea of PopCap creating a premium game, i.e. Plants vs. Zombies 2, while separately working on a free-to-play Plants vs. Zombies from the ground up so it wouldn't break the original amazing formula. This is because they would be building it as a purely free-to-play game, which obviously works a lot differently to premium games. However, Vici says that strangely, even for PopCap, which he had a big part to play in, obviously, didn't back the PvZ 2 team on this issue.
You can literally just ignore them. There have been many, many people who have beaten the game without paying real money for a single thing. It's almost common sense, really. No money equals no games. You can't claim this game is pay to win because 22 out of the 157 usable plants are $7. Only 70 of them you can get through adventure mode, sure. That still doesn't mean it's pay to win. Honestly, it's a lot less than preferable, but that doesn't mean the game is dog shit. What's funny to me is how people complain about these pinata things saying they make the game pay to win. Those came out in January 2017, almost a year after Modern Day Part 2 came out. Of course, most arguments are for PvZ 2's microtransactions, but I already wrote this part of the script anyway, so I might as well stick with it. Microtransactions in PvZ 1 are only on the mobile versions of the game, if you don't count the Xbox 360 avatar thing. Kinda stupid how they changed the mobile version from being paid for to free, though. PvZ Heroes didn't have too many microtransactions. Before you go, herder, PvZH is luck-based RNG. Yeah, I know it is. You just need patience, which is something that people seem to be lacking. It isn't that hard to build up a good deck with some time, but I get where people are coming from with this game. Still fun as hell in my opinion, even if it was cancelled due to not making enough money. Actually, we don't know if that's true or not. I think the worst argument I've heard about microtransactions in the PvZ franchise is about the shooters. People claim that buying coins to open sticker packs gives those players an advantage. If you play the game for more than 2 minutes, you'd realize that the character you get is random, assuming you even got one. You could get anywhere from a brain-dead character like Electropede to the bottom-of-the-barrel character like Electro Citron. The stock characters like Soldier, Cactus, Pea-Shooter, Deadbeard, Sunflower, among others, are already great, so does it really give someone an advantage? Garden Warfare 2 literally starts you out with 14 different characters to choose from. There has to be at least one you can be able to play. Claiming that buying coins to open phenomenal character packs is giving people an advantage is some of the biggest bullshit I've ever heard. Then there's Battle for Neighborville, where you already have 86% of the characters unlocked from the start anyway. I'm not going to go into BFN in this video, however, I'll save that for another day. I don't remember much about PvZ 3 since I last played it in February of 2020, other than that I hated the gameplay. Also not something I'm going to go into right now. Overall, the microtransactions in the PvZ games are pretty limited, and the only reason I see people complaining about them is for their EA bad PopCap good rants. Of course, there are other reasons as to why EA killed PopCap and the PvZ franchise. However, most people using the EA bad PopCap good argument are literal children who only care about how they can't use Chomper or Snoopy in Plants vs. Zombies 2, so they aren't very common. The only other ones that me and a few friends could think of were that the art style sucks and that some plants are OP. For the art style, that's entirely subjective. I can't prove anything for or against the art style of the post-fan PvZ games. For the OP plants, virtually every game has balancing issues. I don't have much to say on that because I barely think about that. Did EA kill PvZ? Not really. They're the distributors and PopCap develops the games. So really, most of the fault is on PopCap. George Fan being laid off did not kill the PvZ franchise, and neither did the microtransactions. EA is not the villain here. There are none. So why are PvZ games declining in quality? Well, first off, that's also subjective. Most people hated BFN, and I personally found it to be a great game, just not as good as the Garden Warfares. PvZ 3 isn't making the future look very bright to most, but it's being reworked. At least be thankful that the devs care enough to try and improve the game. The franchise is not dead yet. If you're one of the people who do believe it's dead, you either die a hero, or live long enough to become the villain. If you've made it this far into the video, congratulations, your attention span doesn't suck. Thanks for listening to me make myself look like a dumbass for however long this ends up being. Comment arson in the comments to confuse people, I guess, I don't know. Would be funny, I think. I'm up for a civil debate in the comments. If you want to, go for it. I'm interested in your thoughts.